Hey guys, this week we're talking about dry shampoo. It still baffles me that it seems that half the people I talk to live off dry shampoo and the other half have never even heard of it. And I find that very strange. It's something that's not really advertised much, at least not in mainstream media. Like here in the beauty community, everyone talks about it, but for a normal person who only watches TV and doesn't go on YouTube, they don't know it exists. And so I thought I'd use this video to explain it all a bit, tell you what it is, what it's for, how to use it, and the different types that exist. Dry shampoo is something that I live off and absolutely need, so I feel like if there's anyone to talk about it, it's definitely me. So I'm going to start off by explaining what dry shampoo is. So dry shampoo is exactly that. It's shampoo that cleans your hair but without having to use water. So for someone like me, I guess I'll start by explaining my hair type. I have that thin, fine hair that gets oily super quickly. So if I wash my hair in, say this morning, by tomorrow morning, it'll already be oily all the way down to about here. And that's typical of fine hair. Everybody I know who has fine hair has the same issue. I know people with thicker hair can wash their hair once a week and they're fine. And that just sounds like voodoo to me, like as if that can happen. I would dream of having that kind of situation. So yeah, washing my hair is a real pain, and the only way to keep it nice and fluffy and clean looking is by washing it every single day, which of course is like, oh, who has time for that? I mean, I go through phases where I do, just because it's easier to style usually if it's been washed than if it hasn't. But it's a lot of hassle and I just can't be bothered. So that's where dry shampoo comes in. I typically wash my hair every second day and then use dry shampoo on the in-between days. I've tried to extend that, making it 3 days between washes, but my hair is just too fine for it. I mean, it looks okay, but it just doesn't feel the same. So I've got two different types of dry shampoos here to show you. The first is the most popular type, which is the aerosol can. This one is the Batiste dry shampoo. These are great and super popular because they come in all sorts of different sizes and flavors. So this one is the tropical coconut and exotic one. Apparently exotic is an ingredient. So these come in all sorts of different flavors, like there's a pink one which is more floral, and I don't know, I think it's like nearly 10 different scents that they have, and this is the really large can. You can get smaller ones. But there are tons of other brands that have these dry shampoos in aerosol cans. If you go, they have them in supermarkets next to all the shampoos. So if you go into the hairstyling section, they have them, or a pharmacy like Priceline or Chemist Warehouse, they have them as well. They have a much wider selection, and you'll find them there from like Sidel and Toni and Guy, and all sorts of different brands have them. So with the aerosol cans, it's just like using hairspray really. You just give it a little shake and then you spray it onto the roots of your hair. So you lift up sections and then just make sure you cover all your roots, and then you just blend it through. A lot of them tell you on the can to just spray it in and brush it through with a hairbrush, but I find that doesn't really work so well. I prefer to use my fingers just because they've got that little bit of body warmth, and massage it through, because then you can really feel where it's missing and you can add more as you go. The only issue with dry shampoo that a lot of people complain about is that it can leave a white cast. Because it is essentially a powder, like a white powder with aerosol added, when it's on your hair, it's kind of like in white clumps at first, or not clumps, white patches at first, and so you've got to massage that through. And so if you've got darker hair, like if you're a brunette, it can tend to make your hair look a bit ashy and you can see patches of where the dry shampoo's been in. But luckily, most dry shampoo brands have created a solution for this by having a dry shampoo for light hair types and for dark hair types. So if you've got like black or brown hair, dark brown hair, they don't have as many as like the normal ones, but there are a few so that you can put it into your roots and it won't make your hair look ashy, which is super helpful, and I'm glad they did that. Myself, having like lighter hair, I've never had an issue. It can look a bit ashy sometimes, but I find I just need to work it through a bit better and blend it through and it's fine. So this is the most popular way, definitely the most convenient. I think you can take this with you and just spritz it through and you're fine. The other type I have is from Lush, and it looks like this. It normally has a cap, but it's gone somewhere into the recesses of my bathroom and I can't find it. But this is called the No Drought Dry Shampoo. So it's the same thing, except instead of having an aerosol, it's just the loose powder in a container. You can kind of see it there. It's just like powder in a little bottle. So what's good about this is that it's made from all natural products. So if you have sensitive skin or hair, and you find that aerosols irritate you, or for some reason you just don't like aerosols, you can use this stuff, or maybe you just prefer natural ingredients. So the base of this is corn flour, but it's also got grapefruit oil, lime oil, tons of other stuff that's really good for your hair. So if you don't like aerosols, or if you prefer to use natural ingredients, I'd recommend this one. So you can either apply this by putting it straight onto the top of your head, or what I prefer to do is to put a little bit in my hands and kind of dust it around a bit and then massage it through. That way I find it's a bit more even, because with the aerosol it kind of does a light spray all over your hair, whereas with this it's a bit more direct because it is just powder. So I find that it's easier if I put it on my hands first and then massage it through, it'll be a bit more even. I find it does take a bit longer with this stuff, just because you really have to spread it out and work it through. But it is really nice, it smells really nice, it smells like citrus. Makes you feel like your hair is fresher and cleaner just by having it in. So yeah, I haven't seen any other brands do this loose powder form before. Lush is the only one that I've seen that have done it, but I'm sure they exist. But either way, it's essentially the same thing. It's a powder that goes into your hair, which absorbs all the excess oil. In the same way that you put powder on your face to absorb any oil, it's the same kind of thing for your hair. It's just a different way to apply it. I will mention though that this will not make your hair feel like after it's been shampooed. It's not exactly the same. So like I love my hair when it's just been freshly washed. My hair loves that. It doesn't do the greasy thing well just because it is very thin. And so it just feels like it just slips everywhere, and I love it, and I can put it up and it just looks loose and pretty all the time. And then once it gets greasy, it gets harder to kind of work it into, like putting it up in a ponytail is a massive effort just to make it look nice. So with dry shampoo, it will absorb all the excess oil, so it doesn't look as oily and greasy and shiny. It doesn't look as limp. It's a bit easier to work with. It's much easier to put it up into a ponytail or something without it looking slicked back. Yeah, that's probably the best way of explaining it. It gets rid of that slick feel. So while it feels better to touch and looks better, it still kind of feels heavy, like as in the way that it feels on your head. So it's like if I freshly wash, my hair feels lighter, it feels fluffier, but if I've used dry shampoo, it's like it still feels like it's oily and greasy, it just doesn't look like it. So it's this weird feeling of, like I feel like my hair looks really greasy and gross, but I just have to go to a mirror and remind myself like, oh, it actually looks really good, it looks like it's freshly washed. So just something to note, that it won't be exactly like freshly washed hair, it's just a way of getting around having to wash it and getting rid of that oil, making it look a bit better, but not quite as good as a full wash. Another thing that dry shampoo is good for, which not everybody knows about, is that it's a fantastic texturizing spray, which is convenient because usually the people who need dry shampoo have very limp, thin hair and struggle to get volume. And so the beauty of dry shampoo is, one, it gets rid of the oiliness out of your hair, but two, it actually adds volume and texture. So it's a common thing to freshly wash your hair and then put dry shampoo straight into it, into the roots, because it helps lift the roots and create texture so that you can get that really messy waves look or that disheveled look, but have it still look nice. Particularly if you're doing an updo even and you kind of need it to hold its place, but you don't want your hair getting crunchy from hairspray. By putting some dry shampoo in the roots, it just helps kind of hold it a little bit without it being stuck. Like it's not sticky in the same way that hairspray is. It just gives it extra tack, I guess. It helps your hair just kind of hold to it's really hard to explain. It just makes it less movable but still looking fresh and real. It's really great for adding extra oomph. As you can see, like I haven't put any volumizer in. My hair is normally very flat, but that's just from the dry shampoo. It just gives it all this extra zhuzh that it needs, which is super helpful if you've got thin, limp hair like I do. So definitely recommend try dry shampoo if you've never used it before, whether it's for in-between washes or for styling your hair. Definitely give it a go. If you have thicker hair and you find you only need to wash it once a week, then not something you really need. But if you find that you have to wash your hair more frequently to keep it looking fresh, that it just gets oily way too quickly, then I definitely recommend dry shampoo. It is a total game changer. it honestly changes your life. I just hated being stuck in that place between having to wash it every day, or if I didn't, it was just so limp and gross, and I don't like slicked back hair. Like, there are certain occasions where that works, but generally I just don't like the feeling. So I love that I can have that fresh feel in between washes, and have my hair a bit more fluffy and light. For example, today, this is second day hair, so I washed my hair yesterday morning. So normally by now, if I hadn't put dry shampoo in it, it would just look like wet. It'd be very limp and heavy and bitsy. Whereas because I've put in the dry shampoo, it's taken out that shine and heaviness a little bit. I can still flick it around similarly to when I've just washed it. It's not quite the same, but it's a lot easier to work with. Like I said, you can pick them up anywhere, whether it's from Lush or the supermarket or a pharmacy. There's tons of brands that have it now, and I think that more brands are coming out with their own versions and extending their ranges, which is really good. It's becoming more popular, so definitely give it a try. I think I've covered everything, but if there's something I've missed, or you're watching this and thinking, but what about this situation? Then just leave a question below and I'll get back to you. I hope you found this video helpful. Hope you've learned something new about dry shampoo. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching this video. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next time.